What's up, guys? It's Joey, and with my son, Ricky, Jacob, I want to talk about what I mainly think about when it comes to having a child, and I'm having my son now. Your whole mentality for the future changes. It's like I'm not just living for myself, I'm living for my son, and look at his Mickey shirt. By the way, I think this is like a 6 month onesie, and he's like 3 months. He's a chubby man. Just look at him. He's just chubby. Look at those legs. All right. He's a handful. He's a good boy though. You know the usual. Cries because he's either hungry or because he's tired, and he'll start like talking in the middle of the night. He did that last night, like at 6:30 a.m. Once I finished feeding him, he just starts talking all loud, and I can't do anything about it. I just have to wait till he's done talking all that gibberish so that I can go back to sleep. But that doesn't last long, you know. I was trying to think about the top things that I don't want my son to be, you know, as he grows up, to be the person and the man that he will be. So I was just thinking about my childhood and how I grew up, you know, being in middle school, high school, and all that stuff. Yeah. Like, for one, I don't want him to be bullied, because I was bullied a lot from like elementary school, middle school, a little bit of high school, and I was always bullied. I was always the target, and I think the main reason for it was because I was always quiet. And I used to think that it was because I was shy. I was known as like, oh, Joey, Johanna, she's shy. Oh, she's quiet, she's shy. And it wasn't because of that. It was because I had a lot of social anxiety. I still suffer from social anxiety. And I don't want him to go through that. So I think at a young age, I want him to get into like events and, you know, like karate, and learn things, kayaking, swimming. I want him to learn so much, and so that he can interact with other kids, so he doesn't have to deal with the shit that I dealt with. The reason why I didn't have a lot of social interaction was because I was always at the hospital, so I didn't really get to go to events at school and stuff like that. Sorry, I had to put him down before he gets all fussy, like he's doing right now. Give me a second. I'm gonna make him a bottle. Shake, 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 shake. Oh, shake, 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 shake. All right, bottle time. And this is what I do. I put this so it'll hold up the bottle. All right. So back to what I was talking about. So I want to get him, you know, to socialize and all that stuff, so he doesn't have all that anxiety that I go through currently at this age. And it gets worse when I isolate myself, and then I go back to trying to be social and going to like film events and stuff. So it gets more difficult for me, and I hate that. I hate that feeling, and it's not something that I can control. You know, and I don't believe in taking medicine for anxiety. That's just retarded, in my opinion. Being bullied, I tried everything to not be bullied. You know, from trying to be popular, from trying to be nice, to, you know, anything they can think of, and I still got bullied. So you never know with these things. Another thing is, I want him to be super kind and nice. I don't think in the past I've been kind or nice to people, just for the simple fact that I was like super insecure and very judgmental. I think till this day I could be judgmental, like for no reason. I honestly think that it has something to do with my parents. I think it's like a Colombian thing. I don't know, because I noticed that they'll be judging everyone on TV or whoever they see like at the mall, and it annoys me. But at the same time, I feel like I judge everyone without, before getting to know them, and then later on, and I get to know them, I'm like, oh no, shit, I was wrong for the way that I thought about them. So I think also that makes me lose opportunities with people, like friend wise. So that's bad. But I've learned, to try to get to know people. Doesn't matter where I am, but there's always that thing in me where I'm like, I don't trust you. And that's another thing. I want my son to trust everyone, but at the same time, I don't think you should, because that's how you get betrayed and backstabbed by people, even like your own best friends. I want to teach my kid to be kind and nice and to help everyone. Um, I've always, I've always wanted to help everyone, and honestly, mostly like emotionally, because I feel like healing a person emotionally, it heals everything else after that. And sometimes I feel like sometimes it backfires you, because then you get too involved with people, and then you end up getting hurt. But you have to learn to have boundaries with people and have limits with your friends and stuff like that, because I'm a great listener, and I think I'll always be a great listener. Being selfish, that's like the main thing. I don't want my son to be selfish. I grew up very selfish. Not as much, maybe, but I guess when I was like 26, I became very selfish because I gave someone else too much of my time, like a past relationship, and I did too much for them. And they took advantage of like my kindness. I think it's like a Miami thing as well, where everyone's like so selfish. And there's probably like 1 out of 500 people that are not selfish. But I feel like selfishness really doesn't help you in life, because then people are not gonna like you so much because you're so freaking selfish. It's that whole mentality that if they don't do anything for me, I'm not gonna do anything for them. And I don't think you should go with that mentality. And it's really, really hard to stay away from that mentality, in my opinion. It's a horrible, horrible trait. I don't want my son to be be addicted to the internet. But I feel like I can't prevent that, because one day he's gonna want like an iPad or something for his education, or maybe he's gonna need something like that for school, and teachers are probably gonna ask for that. But I read this quote where it said, "Oh, children don't see or hear what you do; they mimic what you do." So if you're like reading a lot, most likely they're gonna read a lot, and I think that's true, because I was always curious as to like what my dad would read. He would sit down and read a lot, and so I was curious in reading as well. I took that trait from my father. I would also see my mom painting, and I took 3 years of art in middle school, but then I realized that I was horrible in art and I suck at art, so I stopped doing it in high school. I couldn't really do much in high school, elective wise, because they always stuck me in math classes. The education sucks. I have no clue as to why they would stick me in intensive math when I was like so bad at it, and I'm still bad at it. I think the most important thing is teaching a person how to survive in life. So I feel like education has failed me in many ways, and it sucks. So that's why I want to make sure that my son goes to a good school where they encourage him to be the person that he is, and not force him to take classes just because of the hell of it, So I want to make sure of that, because I feel like the school system has failed me. Since like middle school, they've like forced me to take math classes, extra math classes, to get better at it. I mean, I never got great at it. I'm dyslexic, so it never worked out for me. But hopefully, my child doesn't have those issues. Hopefully. If you have a child, what is something that you don't want your child to take on when it comes to you? Like, what's a bad trait that you don't want your kid to get from you. Leave the comment below and tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about the school system. Was it good in your city or not? And yeah, tell me what you think. Thank you guys.